It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for tuning in on what has already been a most enjoyable Thursday morning. Time now to have a little techie fun. Everybody's been at home and streaming content for work, undoubtedly, or connecting with friends for that matter. Whether it's a home broadcast, teachers building online classes. If you've got a little one who's in creche, you'll know all about that. High quality Zoom meetings. Nearly every working professional who is working remotely could do with a better streaming setup. And Grant Hines, South African gaming YouTuber and streamer, unashamed streamer, joins us now in studio to tell us a little bit more about it. We're going to talk the cool tech that's available in a second, because there's some sexy tech going on over there. Really, really cool. But streaming is something that is exploding, not just in the niche market of streamers, guys who are playing games and casting and doing that sort of thing, but we've all had to learn how to stream a little bit.
It's just been this really exciting time, unfortunately, because of the situation where people have to work from home and be able to broadcast themselves across the internet. And that's also, like, there are a lot of people watching this that might be teachers that are teaching their classes through Zoom or Google Lectures, or there are lecturers that are presenting their cases and invigilating one-on-ones. Business people, yourself, meeting with Zooms with clients, which is...
I mean, I had to judge a show where we had to sit for 5 hours and we had to go through things and do, you know, it was the weirdest kind of scenario, but we were able to do it. But it's the new normal.
It is, and I've been streaming for the past 5 years, but streaming to Twitch and to YouTube with predominantly in video games. But the stuff that we've been using for over all of this time, I have to say, all the research and development that we've been doing in the scene is now, it's a pleasure, is now making its way into the mainstream. So there are a couple of things that you can do to make your streams to your audience, whether it be a classroom or your business meetings, or if you are applying for a job. All those things now matter, how you present yourself online in a live stream.
Okay, so let's talk us through the etiquette then. What is expected now in a stream?
Well, remember, you are viewing somebody. A lot of people think they can just switch on a device and start streaming without consideration for light, for space, for like if they're being backlit and people can't see your face. It's just unprofessional at this point. So you've got to start looking at your Zoom meetings or your lectures as
your
places of
presentation,
as something that is reflecting professionalism. So a couple of things. Firstly, lighting is extremely important. Make sure that your face is lit and the background isn't lit. A lot of devices that we have, like notebooks and phones, have very small sensors inside the camera lens, which pick up very little light. We actually don't realize that. So when you are sitting in front of your computer or your phone with a Zoom meeting, there's very little light that's being picked up. So you've got to overcompensate for your face so that you come out clearer and sharper, because if there's no light, you won't be crisp around the edges. Number one, people need to see you. Body language is a big deal. That's why face zooming is important. Number two, audio. If you can, make sure that you use a secondary audio device. The microphone on your devices isn't great.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what it is? And you got kids, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Remember that news clip on CNN or whatever, the kids just come running in the back of the studio. Look, we forgive him now, but like, we know better when it comes to live streaming from home. We can put parameters on, we can lock the doors, we can make sure everything looks as professional as possible. So make sure the audio is good by having an external device, and that you're not streaming from the garden or the neighbors are having like an illegal braai or something. You know, you want to make sure that people can hear you and you come across clearly.
Okay, because that's part of that. I always thought that it was requisite to have a bookcase behind you, because that seemed to be the thing. If you're going to have a Zoom meeting, you had to have a bookcase behind you.
100%. If you're a professor or a pastor, whenever I see even churches are streaming now, because it's safer to actually meet on a Sunday online, which is really exciting on Facebook. So that's another example of that. And who wants to sit through a sermon or a lecture with a mumbling microphone? And if your audience are kids and they are sitting in like a school lesson, you don't want to sit. It's bad enough sitting in class, like listening to your teacher. Imagine listening to your teacher over like a terrible microphone like this. You know, you want to make sure that it's the best quality that you can.
Okay, just very quickly, we've got about 30 seconds here. Take us through what we're going to be chatting about in just a moment.
So we're going to be talking about some audio, some lighting gear if you don't have natural lighting. We're going to talk about some of the devices that you can plug in and capture external things and be able to control your stream. You don't need to only use one camera. You can use multiple cameras, and this is where it gets very exciting.
Very exciting indeed. And if there's anyone like myself looking at kind of exploring that new broadcast space in particular, there are all sorts of new revenue streams. Our eyes are being opened, but we're going to get into some of this very, as I said, sexy tech in just a moment. But right now, it's all about gaming, and this one is hot. It could scoop all of the awards. Let's join Kat and Gareth Woods.